Hello and welcome to the Week 7 edition of the Monster Pod. Matt Brown, Steven Anders, alongside Ryan Noonan of 4for4.com. I'll go back to the squarest play ever. And guess what, guys? The squarest play ever, cash last week, and you can't take that money away from me. It's in the account. There's nothing I can do with it. Detroit Lions on the road at the Minnesota Vikings. They are 1.5 dogs. 50.5 is our total. Ryan, I played the Lions at 2.5 when it was at 2.5. I have the Lions as the second best team in the NFL, so my power ratings tell me if I'm getting 2.5 points, that's just an auto play for me for the team that's second best in the NFL. For me, I understand the Aiden Hutchinson injury is certainly a thing. This dude was absolutely crushing out there, but I think that Flores isn't going to change what he does, and he's just going to blitz the hell out of Jared Goff, and I'm sure you guys saw the stat last week that Jared Goff threw for 178 yards and 2 touchdowns against the blitz last week. It was the highest total of the 2024 season with any quarterback in the NFL versus the blitz last week. And, you know, this Lions team is just so friggin' multiple that I just don't know what the game plan is going against 2 legit starting running backs that you have, legitimate wide receiver options, legitimate tight end options, really good offensive line. I just, I don't know how you stop them from scoring points. And I think somewhere along the way, they stopped the Vikings. So if you're giving me points with this Lions team, again, I'll take the squarest play of the week. It worked last week. I'm going to hope it works again for me this week.
This is what I paired with the early week teaser on the Bills side. Give me, moving Detroit through the 3, through the 7 in a teaser leg. I think it's great. Obviously, higher total than we would like in a teaser situation, but I think getting the points there is pretty significant. Look, I mean, Flores got new dogs to, do the thing this year, but otherwise the system for the most part is the same, right? The way that they're doing things. And this, it's like kind of the same guys on the other side too, right? Ben Johnson was able to cook this defense last year. And like Goff had no problem getting the ball out quickly, fed Amon-Ra in a massive way. Amon-Ra props, I think, are very interesting in this game. Receptions, yards, alts, all those things. He's going to be a massive, massive factor, partially because Minnesota is running these 6-man fronts at the highest rate in the league, more than like almost triple anyone else, which is part of why they've had a lot of success against the run, partially because sometimes they drop those guys back into coverage. Sometimes they bring everybody. It's really hard to kind of dissect what they're doing there. So that's kind of a new wrinkle for them this year is those 6-man fronts. I think it's going to make it harder for Detroit to run and get explosives here. But I also think that that's okay because then they're going to be able to move the football. Minnesota side, we want to see that Aaron Jones is in this game to think they're going to be able to punch back. Also, if you look at these Justin Jefferson game logs against this iteration of the Lions and the coaching staff, it is like Madden on easy mode. He is gone for like 180, 220, like just bonker games. So I think a lot of points are going to be involved here. Again, another high total that I think might not be enough because the lack of pass rush that Detroit's going to be able to generate without Aiden Hutchinson. So Detroit getting points, great teaser leg, and a game over for me.
Steven, I know you got a bet in this one. There's just no way you're letting this game get away without something in the account. What's in there, buddy?
I could see the teaser leg with Ryan, but I think you're wrong about the Lions. I do. I think this is the coming out party for the Minnesota Vikings. Here's kind of what I base.
Okay.
They already beat the Niners and the Texans. Didn't they come out already?
Yeah, seriously.
Apparently not. 80% of the public still on the Lions. Matt in Public Dog City over here still thinks the Vikings are fraudulent. So nobody believes Ryan.
No. Do not put words in my mouth. I do not think that the Vikings are fraudulent.
Same.
I think that the Detroit Lions are for real. There's 2 things can be true. Like we can hold 2 thoughts in our head at the same time. And so I don't have to say that I don't like the Vikings while also saying I really, really like the Lions.
Okay, let me start with the Lions defense, which is the biggest issue with them, not only in this game, but being true contenders the rest of the season. Losing Aiden Hutchinson is freaking massive on top of already losing Marcus Davenport on the other side. Even with Hutchinson on the field this year, Detroit was still only 20th in success rate allowed overall against the pass. So the pass defense last year was an issue. It was still an issue this year. And now I don't know where the hell the pass rush is going to come from for this Detroit defense. Matt, do you have a rebuttal or should I continue?
No, I mean you're still talking about okay. So you're where's your jersey? Where's your Sam Darnold jersey? Do you have it on, or is it packed? Like where is it at?
My jersey is in the form of a 300-1 MVP ticket sitting in my account that is only going to get more CLV after the win against the Lions this week, and he's maybe shorter than 10-1 to win MVP after this week.
Okay. All right, there it is. All right, so
So
you'll buy a jersey if the ticket cashes then.
Correct.
Yes. Yeah.
Or, hedge and make a lot of money off of that equity that continues to build every week. So that's first of all. I don't know how the Lions are getting stops at this point, especially against an offense like the Vikings, who KOC is orchestrating to perfection. And Ryan already pointed out the massive games Justin Jefferson has had. Might even get TJ Hawkinson back for this. We'll see.
They're waiting. Okay, they're waiting till next week.
Okay, so they're waiting, not him. Even Aaron Jones may not play. I'm fine. Whatever. It's good. This Lions defense can't really stop anybody through the air right now. So I feel pretty good about the Vikings scoring points in this game. The other side of the ball with the Lions and their offense, I have to think maybe they're at least a little overrated. I'm not saying they're bad or average. I still think they're an above average offense, but can we at least note who they've done it against this year? The Rams defense, a really injured Tampa Bay defense, the Arizona defense, a really injured Seattle defense, and Dallas, who was a dumpster fire and was also injured in that game. So, listen, credit for winning by margin and scoring 40 points in back-to-back weeks. I get it. And the Lions and Campbell trolling the Cowboys in the NFL with trotting out the tackle eligibles over and over again, was one of the greatest things I've ever seen. I love this team. I really do. I just think they're a little overrated. And I think Brian Flores is flexing, guys. I really do. If you telling me he can't get enough stops against this Lions offense after what he did to Brock Purdy and the Niners offense and CJ Stroud and the Texans offense, I'm believing here. I really am. If assistant coaches were eligible for Coach of the Year, Brian Flores would be a finalist at this point in my mind. That's how impressive he has been.
I learned last year they have their own award, which I didn't know previously, but they do have their
own. I wish
we
could bet on that. That'd be fun.
I know. Yeah, it's not in the market, but yeah.
So I mean, Steven, we do remember that game with the 49ers. 49ers was just basically playing with their food in that game. It was ridiculous the way that they were going about it. I don't know if they're, air quotes, saving the good plays and all that stuff like that. I mean, that was just a very un-49er
whip the Texans up 28-0 on the Packers in Green Bay with Jordan Love, number 1 defense by EPA per play, number 2 by success rate. Now we find out if the Lions offense is for real.
So we're okay with quoting advanced stats when it backs up the team that you want to back, but the advanced stats aren't okay whenever we're talking about the other team because it's the opponent, even though all this stuff is adjusted for opponent. So we'll quote them when it's for the team we want to back, and then we ignore them when it's the team that we're trying to fade, even though it's all the same shit.
Yeah.
First of all,
that's how we all do it.
What are you new here?
We all do
you new here?
Yeah. I mean, so
secondly, the Vikings have played real teams. The Lions have not played real defenses.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll see. I mean, listen, there are very few defensive players that I think truly really matter, right? And that I think is this is probably an adjustment to the line because of that guy. And Aiden Hutchinson would probably fall in the, small handful of dudes that it is. The guy was an absolute beast so far this year and certainly could have made Darnold's world a lot worse. But, we'll see. I can't wait for this matchup though, because it's a very telling matchup, I think, for both of these teams. So I'm super, super hyped up.
Yeah, neither Matt or I said that the Vikings aren't good. Yeah. But Steven's actual take here is the Lions offense might not be real, which is a strong take.
Bold take when you have 2 starting level running backs, a top 5 tight end, a top 10 wide receiver, a top 10 down the field threat in Jamison Williams,
and a play caller that teams were tripping over themselves to give him the keys.
A top 3 offensive line. I love the take that the Lions aren't for real.
I'm saying they have to be one of the 2 best offenses in the league at this point because that's how bad the Lions defense has been and what they're projected to be now without one of the best pass rushers in the league.
Okay, so that's where we're going to. Okay, well, we shall see. It's a great game. This week has some bangers. So like this is certainly one that we're going to be paying attention to. Guys, if you haven't done so already, upper right-hand corner of Lions.com is a free Discord to go in, chat the games with everybody over there. And if you haven't visited 4for4 yet, you need to go in, go ahead, sign up. It's worth the money. Everything that you are getting is going to make you better. And that's all we're trying to do here is make you better, whether it be at fantasy, whether it be at betting, whether it be just at life in general. Live life like Steven. That's all. Just live life like Steven, and you are going to be a jolly, happy person out there for sure. For Ryan, for Steven, I'm Matt. Good luck on all your week 7 bets.